Hello and welcome back to Officina Virtuale. Today we're going to be continuing our beginner series, so as always let's click on Start, Mechanical Design and Part Design, and Part 1 OK. Left mouse button and dragging we can select all the elements in our grid, and we can delete this element or hide and show. And let's introduce a different system, this, and OK, and let's select on our XY plane and let's click on Sketch. Now we are in our 2D space. Today we're going to talk about rectangle, so let's click on Rectangle, and to sketch our first rectangle we need to specify the position of our first vertex, this, and the position of our second vertex. As you can see, we've got 4 different constraints, 2 horizontal constraints, 2 vertical constraints. We can check this in our dialog box. Horizontal and vertical are enabled, OK. And to fix the position of our rectangle in our space, to obtain an isoconstraint sketch, we need to specify the position. As you can see here, we need to specify the position of 4 different points, or we can we can fix this height and we can fix this base, and for example we can fix the position of our point. Okay, now we've got an isoconstraint sketch. Because we've got even these 4 different constraints, horizontal and vertical. Close. Our second option is this oriented rectangle. We can specify this rectangle with our first point, and with our second point we can define the base, and then we need to specify the height. And as you can see here, we've got this condition parallel between these 2 different segments. We can check with dialogs box. To fix the position of our rectangle, we need to specify, for example, normally with this height, this base, the position of a particular point, for example our first vertex, this and this, and we need to specify this orientation, this and this, and now we've got an isoconstraint sketch. I'll do that one more time. So we need to fix the position of our first point, second point, and then we can specify our third vertex to obtain a rectangle. Okay. Other options we've got, this is a parallelogram. We can specify the position of our first point, second point, and then we can specify the position of our first point with the inclination. This could be an oriented rectangle, as you can see here. To fix the position we need to specify, as always, the position of a particular point, for example our first vertex. Then we need to specify the height, the dimension of our base, and we need to specify the orientation, and in this case we need to specify even this particular orientation, this angle normally, this or this, for example this. Okay. Other options, we've got an elongated hole. We can specify the position of our first center and second center, and then we can specify this dimension. I've got this enabled, and that means we've got this constraint and we've got even this measure. If I can enable this, for example, and I can sketch. We've got this condition, this parallel condition, and I can specify my radius, for example. I can fix this radius now. Normally, to obtain an isoconstraint sketch, we need to specify this radius and the length of this segment. This could be the best way to obtain an isoconstraint sketch. Obviously, we need to specify the position of our point. We can select this point and fix this position, and we get an isoconstraint sketch. Okay. Other options, we've got what's called Cylindrical Elongated Hole. The idea is always the same, but at first we need to specify our center point, our first point, because we need to design to obtain an arc, and this could be our arc, and then we need to specify the radius. I'll do that one more time, that with dimensional constraint enabled. And so let's select our first point, our center point. We can specify our arc, and we can specify the radius, as you can see here. Normally, to obtain an isoconstraint sketch, we need to specify this angle, and the best way to do that is to select an axis, and we can design an axis, or we will use even constructions element, but we need to specify this angle. And as always, we need to specify this radius and the position of this point, or this. Other options, we've got Keyhole Profile. For this, we need to specify our first point and our second point, and this is the length of our axis. And then, moving our mouse, we can click to obtain our first radius, and with the second click we will obtain our second radius. I'll do that one more time. Let's click on Keyhole and first and second radius. Okay. As you can see here, we need to specify this dimension and we need to specify this radius. Of course, we need to specify the length of our axis, and then we can fix the position of our point, a particular point. We can select this or this. It could be the same. Next option is Hexagon. With our first click, we fix the position of our center, and then we can select the orientation, as you can see here, but we can select even the length of this segment. As you can see, we got our hexagon inscribed in a circle. Normally we will use condition like parallels. For example, we should impose that this segment must be parallel to another segment, or normally we will use this parallel or horizontal or vertical. This could be the best way to use our hexagon. Other options, we've got a centered rectangle. This is the most important options here, I think. Normally with our first click we can fix the position, the center of our rectangle, and then we can fix the other vertex, and in this way we can fix the length and the base, the height and the base. Okay. The next options, the last and the least, is centered parallelogram, but it doesn't work. I don't know why. So, as always, if you like this content, please consider to subscribe, share. See you next time. Ciao.